Hey, this is Tom from tdjacobs.com, and I'm doing a little video to talk about Libra's featured energetically charged stone. Sometimes when it's a crystal, I call it a crystal, like if it's an Orlite 23. But when we're talking about sea jasper, call it a charged stone or energetically programmed stone. So what I do is I'm an energy worker, and as a person, I give off a ton of energy. As an energy worker, I've learned how to ground it so I can intentionally use it. So I can alter what I'm vibrating, how much space it takes up, what frequency it is, what it does, what it opens, what it moves, what it moves in a person or myself or the world around me. It's kind of a magical sorcerer kind of thing, but I've done it under the tutelage of an ascended master and an archangel, Jehudi, or Thoth, Saint Germain, Merlin, and Metatron, respectively, the Ascended Master and Archangel. And so I've really been in school for years in order to do this. And I do this energy work for people all over the world, distance-wise, over video conference and the phone. I do it for people in person. And I put the energy into stones and crystals as well. So when you get an energy work session from me, this is kind of an overall tutorial if you're not familiar with this process from me. If you get an energy work session from me, you'll have an effect. But you could rely on the habit of the mind and come back to the old pattern and habit and recreate the block or the stuck place if you want. Having one of these stones in your life will provide an energetic interruption. For the full story on why I devote so much time and energy on this, check out the video Why Use Energetically Programmed Crystals from a few months ago. It tells a story in 20-25 minutes about why this is so important. But basically, it's an energetic interrupter. This frequency in the stone will change how your energy field works, how your consciousness works, therefore making it easier to release energies, change habits, release attachments, get rid of energies, and make changes for the better. So today we're talking about Sea Jasper. This is the featured one for the month because specifically Jupiter has just gone into Libra, and of course it is the solar month of Libra. Libra is about relationships, fairness, harmony. You can also check out the free audio, which is about 24 minutes on SoundCloud. What Jupiter and Libra, what are you available for? That's kind of the basis of this thinking. And it'll become, sorry, my mic keeps falling over. It'll become clearer, this idea of Libra in a few minutes when I explain what's going on with these stones. Other people are in your life to show you what you're vibrating, what you need to embrace in yourself but don't own, what you need to get rid of, what you need to upgrade, what you need to release, what you need to surrender and forgive, blah, blah, blah. So the idea with Jupiter and Libra, and now the sun's just entered Libra, is you can expand, which is a Jupiter keyword, through cleaning up relationships. But other people are only in your life to show you what you're vibrating. Can you surrender to that? The Sea Jasper is for surrender. Essentially, I experience it as a Neptunian energy, Neptune, Pisces, 12th house kind of archetype energy. It's about surrender and release. The idea, the kind of mythology that's developing around it is, it's Sea Jasper. So it's Jasper, which is one of the most common, subfamilies of quartz on the planet. It's very common on the planet, but it is harvested underwater. It lives underwater. The idea is that the lapping waves over millennia give it this soothing, calming energy. To my brain, that sounds like nonsense, but that's actually what happens. I use it to surrender, release, relax, let go, and accept what is. The idea with the Neptune archetype is, Neptune, Pisces, 12th house, is that we need to learn how things really work here and learn to work with life. We've been conditioned to be up in our brains, which leads us to be controlling, demanding, and fixated on controlling outcomes and ensuring that we're safe. When we live a healthy Neptune energy, we're understanding that we are part of a greater fabric of reality. And there are times when things happen to us, with us in our lives that are difficult and are painful and are hard to work with. This can help us accept that. So I'm offering this idea of this featured stone for the month during the solar month of Libra, so that you can relax into seeing what people are showing you. Actually, I don't ever do sales on crystals, but I am this month because I want you to get it. So these massage wands, for example, instead of being 29, they're 19. And I'm also introducing this month what are called boulders. For some reason, my brain wants to call them mounds. You'll see why in a second. But I guess technically they're called boulders. And they're just big chunks of rock that have been shaped, polished by hand. And so they're larger, and they sit on a desk or on a table, on a shelf. They can kind of energetically fill up a room. This in your pocket will affect your body. This will also. Here's one of the boulders. So you can see, I'm going to explain a little my half-assed technical explanation because I don't know the full story, but I'll tell you, in Sea Jasper, it's the orbs that matter, the little orbs. So you can see, you can see here, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that there are little orbs up here. Any orbs in this material is old stock. Now what happens is, it's this particular crystal that grows as a spear in the middle of all this other stuff. When you cut it, you see the cross section. So here is another example on a boulder. You see the little spheres. Now, the stuff that's coming out of the ocean, it's northwest Madagascar is where this comes from. The stuff that's coming out of the ocean now has blurry orbs or no orbs at all. Now, I actually bought some of this thinking, what a great deal on Sea Jasper, because I was having such amazing effects with these little massage wands, and you can see that does have orbs. I was having such amazing, yeah, there's a good example right there in the end. Amazing personal results with finally relaxing and letting things be as they are, which is not my norm, but where I really need to head to. That I went to a vendor here in Tucson, actually, a company that owns mines in Madagascar is basically the only source for it, and at least for Madagascar. And so anyway, I bought a bunch of it. It turns out it doesn't have orbs, and so it's just basically like yellow and green jasper, which has its purpose. But anyway, I have pounds of that in the garage that I have not worked up yet, because I'm really focused on the orbs. I don't. The half-assed technical part is I don't know why it is that the orbs are necessary. So basically, all the new stuff coming out of the ocean doesn't have it. So when I go to gem shows, I'm looking for old stock, which is why I buy these massage wands that are pre-done, because they have the orbs. Otherwise, I would buy rough rock and cut it and polish it myself, which I do for well over half of the other stones that I offer. Here's another of the boulders. You can have some striking colors and also some quartz inclusions, kind of like clear things that might be kind of hard to see, but really kind of striking stuff. So I've never had the boulders before, but they are now energetically programmed, they're charged, and now they are up on my site, and they, with the massage wands, are on sale during the month of Libra. These prices vary. Like this one's this is over 4 pounds of rock, so the prices are very different, while the other one is I think is 2 is the smallest one here. So you can check those out. The idea is you shouldn't be able to control everything in your world. That's not reality. That's what your linear logical mind, your brain, your logical self, which is designing everything to attempt to control it so you can feel safe, that's what it is trying to do. But the way that life really works here is you're an energetic being, you're consciousness, you're part of the fabric of reality. So using one of these Sea Jasper wands, we can surrender and release. Now, if you need, it's essentially, for me, a Neptune corrective. It's essentially a medicine, getting this frequency in my field is like a Neptune correction, right? Corrective. I have Pluto in the 12th house, so I have some wounding about Neptune stuff. And I have the South Node ruler Moon conjunct Neptune and Mercury. So I have a lot of Neptune stuff going on, and I can get disoriented. I can get, I can have illusions. I can deceive myself. I can, I can wish for something better, but not be practical enough to make it happen. Or I can, have that kind of energy of Neptune where we look at that and say, that's not grounded. That's not really healthy. That's a part of who I am. And also Pluto in the 12th, I have great fears about surrender. I'm empowered when I surrender, So I use the C Jasper. I actually, these are two of the ones I use. I sleep maybe about 40% of the time. I sleep with one in each hand. I wake up, I see it fell, I pick it up again, because it brings a peacefulness and the ability to accept. So essentially, each of these massage wands and the boulders, and yeah, I think you should. Yeah, I think you should cuddle up with this 4 pound boulder. But essentially, each of them is giving off a positive Neptune frequency, which can interrupt negative Neptune frequency. So if you're very controlling, if you're in your mind, if you are afraid of being hurt, if you can't accept that everything that happens to you happens for a reason that has to do with your soul's growth, that yes, might not be cool with your mind, you might not understand it. If you have defenses about working with life, about trusting life, trusting others, knowing that you belong here, that's what the sea jasper is for. It's a beautiful stone. Now there are some times when I'm stressed and I can't let this frequency in. It's normal for all of these stones, just like advice that might come from a friend where you know that you need to vent, but your friend gives you great advice and you're just like, you know what, thanks, I can't hear that right now. We have that experience sometimes. But so I try to use these often to establish a really good baseline for surrender, relax, letting go. So we need to forgive people. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to forgive life, God, the universe, goddess, whatever. We need to go with the flow, as in fit in with the rhythm of life, consciousness, the universe that is happening around us. If not, if we don't surrender, forgive, let things go, then we create disempowerment through frustration and anger and control-based behaviors, and the frustration and anger that comes when we find out repeatedly that we cannot control things. So that's a truth. You cannot control things. Are you going to continue beating yourself up about that because you didn't do it right, or life isn't fair, or you aren't supported because this painful thing happened? Or are you going to endeavor to surrender to what's true, surrender to the way things need to happen? I'm going to give you some examples, which I'm going to regret later, because one of you is going to email me in a couple of years and say, oh yeah, I saw the video and you talked about the thing, and I'll be like, ouch, did I say that? But I'm going to do it anyway because it's been it's just an example for you of a real issue that I'm using this to help, and it totally helps. I am in 2008, which is now 8 Earth years ago, I wrote a natal report, which is when you write an essay, and then you write all the houses and signs and aspects and transits and progressions of a particular archetype, and then you program it, you send it to a publisher, software publisher, or you write a script or whatever, I'm not a programmer, to automate it. So somebody puts it on your website, yeah, my name's Fred, here's the $20, pay with PayPal, and here's my birth data, and it's automatically computer generated, and you're emailed a PDF, and then you have this 30-page report. It's personalized, right? But I've written I wrote, just in case you don't know what a natal report is, and there are many, many natal reports. I wrote one on the true black moon Lilith, the osculating apogee, and I sent it to a software publisher, and the first one was like, no, you're wrong. This isn't good at all. You're using the wrong Lilith. And I was like, no, I'm using the right, blah, blah, blah. Second publisher said, this is amazing. You changed our minds to use this other Lilith. Perfect. Great. We love it. We want to sign a contract with this. So that was in 2010. And so it's even, I mean, I've been trying not to talk about it with my partner. What am I going to do? The mic keeps falling over. I tried to not to talk about it with my partner because there's no solution, right? Except I need to let it go. I tune in intuitively. Should I undo this contract? Should I have it, dissolved because it's not happening? And the answer from guidance is, this is the right company. You're learning a lesson. Go with it. So first it was, couldn't get an answer on them why they couldn't do it, but they kept delaying things. And then a couple of years in, I finally confronted them and said, you got to tell me what's going on. And they said, our lead programmer has had debilitating anxiety, and he's the one who has to do this. He's the only person who can do this thing, because you're using the unique Lilith, and we haven't used it before, so we have to have somebody figure out this new way. So we don't want to get rid of him, and we can't replace him. You know, we just have to hope he gets better. And I'm like seething, right? Because I'm like, this is going to help my career. I wrote this beautiful report that people need. Why can't they get it? So then that delays. And then, you know, they know I'm angry. They feel bad about it. I'm trying not to be angry. I'm just trying to be upfront and trying to learn some Libra and diplomacy to work it out, right? Every time I check into guidance, 5 or 6 times a year, honestly, for like 4 or 5 years, the answer is do not end the contract. This is teaching you something very important. And I'm seething. So I actually ended up stopping talking to my partner. It's been happening longer than I've been with her. So it's been, you know, it's been weighing on me. Now, part of me has banked on that boosting my career, that publicity by the world's first or second largest software publisher, astrology report publisher. So there is a bigger picture, but my egoic control script is having a problem. So I decide I can relax about it. And I say to my girlfriend sometimes, like, yeah, but it's not happening. Why isn't it happening? She says, it's happening. She's really good with this Neptune surrender thing. She goes, it's happening. It's just not happening on your time frame. The time frame that you perceive you need it to happen on. So then I come back and I relax. And I'm like, okay, let me surrender, right? I put on the 12th. I got to surrender, right? And I get to the place where I'm fine and I can let it go, and I actually forget about it for a few weeks, right? It's not gnawing at me. It's not eating at me, right? The frustration and anger and, you know, this report is amazing. Why is the universe blocking it? Anything that happens is happening for a good reason, but we have to learn to see it, right? And if we're angry, we can't see truth. So I relax about it, and then I hear from my contact who says, hey, we're ready. The guide to the programming. Now it's just for editing. And the editor's going to write you. And the editor wrote me. And she sent me a list of questions. And I answered the list of questions. And I was so excited. And I felt like this huge weight lifted, right? And then I don't hear back from her. And I'm like, maybe the email I sent her where I said, please don't edit my stuff too much. Maybe it was harsh. Maybe it was not diplomatic, whatever. So I wrote my contact again and said, hey, I haven't heard from from this person. And my contact wrote back, the editor died. And I was like, you have to be expletive and kid. I didn't say this to her, but I was like sitting in my office like, what? 5.5 years of delays, and then the editor dies. So now somebody else has to start over from scratch with whatever she was doing, which is finishing the editing. So it's happening, but just not on my time frame. And I was just like, you know, giving it to the lady who's about to die. I was like, what a sick joke. What is the universe trying to teach me here? So I go back to the sea Jasper, and I go back and I sleep with it, holding it every night, deciding there's a reason that everything's happening. The way it's happening doesn't make me feel supported, but that's my brain and its ambition. So let me relax about this again. And so I sleep with these sea Jaspers in my hands. Sometimes I sleep also instead with Orlite 23, which I've talked about in other videos and other places. But this is the relaxed surrender. There's a higher truth. It's okay. Stop thinking about it. Stop worrying. Stop having anxiety. Stop being angry that you can't control this outcome. And so this has been invaluable for me to relax. So about that report, I'm assuming it's in the testing phase, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything in a few weeks, you know, since that my contact was going to work on it on her vacation after the lady passed away, the editor. So anyway, so it'll happen, but not on my time frame. Can I trust that? Can I let it go? That's what the Sea Jasper is for. It's kind of a long story, but it gives you an example of something I've come at from every different angle, something I am working to create, something I have created, I'm working to disseminate widely. Pluto in the 12th wants to make a difference. Pluto in Libra in the 12th what needs to make you know, a difference in people's lives, in the collective. And for me, this shit about sexual violence that we've been playing out for thousands of years and degrading and demonizing the feminine and looting and raping everything that's feminine and destroying it and shaming it, that hurts me because it hurts the collective. So my brain kept saying, this report helps people heal this thing about the feminine, this demonization and denigration of half of the energies within ourselves. Forget half the population of women. You know, the human population is probably a little more women than men, but forget the literal people who are feminine of different genders, but also just the collective's relationship with the receptive, peaceful, trusting energy, which is the feminine, not the building, directing, controlling energy of the masculine that each person has in some mix, regardless of gender or sexual orientation. So I was getting angry because, and it took me several years to see why I was angry, because I'm trying to give a gift. And it looks like the universe is stopping my ability to give a gift. And that's classic Pluto in the 12th disempowerment. So as my girlfriend says, it's happening, but not on the time frame you insist on. You can't control the timing. You don't know what factors are in place that would make its release now not good, but its release at whatever time it's okay to release it, it's good to release it, good. So surrender, go with the flow, surrender without resignation. Let me just say a minute about that. Resignation is when you kind of throw your arms up in the air and say, I don't care about it anyway, or, okay, great, that has to happen, but I hate it. That's resignation, and that's not faith. That's not love. It's not healthy. Surrender is, let me let go to let things happen the way that they're trying to happen, the way they need to happen. You know, this is another thing that comes up, especially in this terms of this relationship stuff, where I'm kind of promoting this Jupiter and Libra bit during the solar month of Libra. One of the things that happens is you might want a response from another person who's not ready to respond to you. You might perceive you need a kind of interaction that others cannot give you, or others cannot give you. Can you relax and surrender and let it work itself out? Can you not define yourself by how that other person treats you? Can you define yourself as a divine being, Neptune, as a part of the fabric who matters, but who can't control every outcome? You can't control how others see you and what they think of you after they slam that literal or metaphorical door in your face and decide never to talk to you again. You can't control that. Can you accept and surrender to the fact that other people are in your life for a reason to show you something about you, but that you shouldn't take what they tell you about you always literally, because they're reflecting to you what you need to embrace, own, give up, or shed, or upgrade. What you need to stop doing or what you need to do more of. That's why others are in your life. So that is the whole point with all of this seed, Jasper. I love these pieces. I absolutely love them. It kind of breaks my heart because I know that eventually the old stock stuff, the stuff with the orbs, is going to run out. And I'm going to have to find a replacement, which I have one idea that I'll play with. But yeah, the sea jasper is so important for, in general, relaxing. So it helps me sleep. It's helped other people sleep. I've heard from one client, in her meditation, suddenly there were flashes of many colors, which is kind of a Neptunian opening, where she'd set aside some time to meditate each week during acupuncture. And the first week she had the sea jasper and she held it. She just had these like explosion of colors and all this wonderful Neptunian color stuff happening. For some people with the Neptune effect, it's going to be dreams. For other people, just relaxing. You know, for other people, guidance through dreams. For other people, more creative flow, like kind of stream of consciousness kind of flow. It's a lot of different effects, but essentially the idea is the Neptunian surrender, Neptunian acceptance, surrender versus resignation, which is leading to and based in powerlessness. So check out tdjacobs.com, go to the crystals page, and it's also linked in the description thing below this video, the link to the page where all of the wands, are 19 instead of 29 for the solar month of Libra. When the sun goes into Scorpio, the price goes back up, and all of these 4 boulders are posted as well. Thanks for your time and energy. I hope this information is helpful. And be in touch if you have questions about the crystals. Better to email me, tom@tdjacobs.com, than to comment here. And yeah, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.